Cancerous ears. I went through all of this yesterday.
Again, good luck with that one, Kirsten. Get straight down the patent office. But before that, let's listen to another tune. Harry, you loved the Soup Dragons, didn't you?
I love the Soup Dragon.
All right, now, Harry, did you also love Teenage Fan Club?
Oh, I love him.
All right, do you love the drummer from both of those bands? His name was Paul Quinn.
God, yes.
Do you love his current band, Primary 5?
I would imagine I would.
Well, have a listen to this. This is a track from their current album, Go. The band is Primary 5. The track is 2 AM from their current album, Go. Harry, you love a kind of jingle-jangle, Birds-influenced Teenage Fan Club style band. Did you enjoy the Primary Go?
Absolutely. I mean, the greatest praise I could give that is that could sit happily on any Teenage Fan Club album and wouldn't look out of place, would it?
Yeah. The Primary 5, it's very difficult to find anything about them. They're one of those bands that's sort of slightly underrepresented on the web, which is where I go for all my music information nowadays, so they may want to sort that out if they're tuning in. Kirsten O'Brien,
No.
you didn't like it?
No, I didn't
Didn't
actually.
go with
I'm
you?
sorry. No, just plinky plonky guitar.
Oh dear, okay, so I have to have the final casting vote. And I'm going to go with Harry's opinion. I quite liked it. I thought it was quite a charming little tune. I'm surprised that you've been so repulsed on a bright summer's day like this. You're heading down to Butlins after this, I understand.
I am, yes.
Is that for a little holiday, or what's happening?
No, it's for personal appearance.
A personal appearance! God, that's exciting news.
I love my chair with the excitement of that. Yeah, you were asking about the life of a minor celebrity. I kept that under my hat.
You certainly did. So what does this involve?
This involves me being on the stage, having a chat with a red coat, the kids asking me some questions, and then I've made something from a cardboard box that I'm going to show the kids how to make.
Wow.
It's a tortoise from a cardboard box.
Is this something you've designed yourself, or is this something you... Because you're on one of those kind of Tony Hart style programmes, aren't you?
One of the
art programme. What's it called?
Programme Smart.
Right, and this is where you show kids how to do art and stuff.
Yeah. But unfortunately today, I've already been warned, it's a rugby weekender in there, so by the time I get there, I'm on at 7:30, they will be well full of beer and cider, and I've already been warned there will be men shouting abuse at me.
Of course, even as you're trying.
I've made the mistake with this top because it's got no straps, so if I run on exuberantly, it may, in a Price is Right style, skid off as I run on the stage.
Goodness me, so you're flashing the kids, the drunken guys couldn't believe their luck.
It's
going to be a shambles.
I know.
Will you come back and tell us how you got on? Thanks very much indeed. Alright, let's have a final tune from the Pigeonhole. This is Elvis Perkins and a track called All the Night Without Love, currently available. The guy is Elvis Perkins, the track is All the Night Without Love, which we believe is currently available for you to buy. And I thought it was a very pleasant tune, the final choice from my Pigeonhole this week. Kirsten O'Brien.
I really liked that. That was suitably maudlin for me. I liked the kind of wailiness of it, and I preferred, it wasn't as plinky plonk. I quite liked the background music.
The maudlin. You're not an unhappy woman, though, at this current time in your life?
No. I'm very joyous, but on a Sunday, sometimes you need to sit down, take stock.
Take stock
work
of your
out
life.
your life isn't going where you thought it was because you're heading to Butlins for a rugby weekender and maybe feel a little bit down about that.
How much money do you get for something like that? Come on, just out of interest. Is it silly money? I mean, is it worth going through the abuse and, it's going to be interminable, isn't it?
Yes, but let's just say years ago I did, once when I was doing the Flying Eye, it was worth me hiring the plane and flying to Skegness to do a PA,
Really?
so it was worth, yes.
Wow, you must have some serious lolly. You don't hear that enough, do you? You don't hear lolly enough. Harry, what were your thoughts on Elvis Perkins?
I enjoyed it very much, Steve. With a kind of wailing violin going on, had a bit of a sea shanty feel to it. I can imagine vomiting over the side of a trawler while listening to that. Yeah, I enjoyed it greatly.
Have you got any public appearances lined up?
I'll be walking from Charing Cross to my office tomorrow morning at about 8:45.
What will you be wearing?
Trousers, shirt, tie, shoes.
The classic ensemble.
Yeah.
We should point this out because although Kirsten is a TV presenter, one of the big names in kids entertainment,
massive pro.
Harry's a nobody. He is just a guy who works in a bank, and that's exactly what this show's about. You know, it's not about getting TV personalities on to witter away. It's about fans, music lovers like Harry, who just do regular jobs. A regular Joe who's come on, he's offered us some
So
great
at the end
music.
of the show, you've actually dissed me for turning up.
I pretty much have. We have to play a trail. We can hopefully choose. We can squeeze in. Can we get the Staple Singers in and maybe another tune? We'll see how we go. The Staple Singers, I'll take you there. The final tune on this week's The Steve Show. As I have with me professional TV presenter Kirsten O'Brien, I'm going to hand over the reins to her so that she can talk and fill for the next, what we got, minute or so. And you've got to hit the 5 o'clock mark bang on, because that's when Stuart McConey's programme starts. I don't want you finishing short and me having to fill, alright? You ready to go?
You're telling me for the next, coming up minutes, I've got to get us off air.
You've got to get us off air in the style that you perhaps would do if you were hosting a kids' TV programme.
Well, no one would want that.
No, okay.
We've all had a lovely show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't want to go wild at the end. I call myself in gunge.
I do indeed. I do. I don't know. That's a hell of a way to go out. Great for the webcam viewers. We do need to just remind people though, if they want to get in touch, they can check out the website bbc.co.uk/6music.
Absolutely. If you're a budding she-j, you can get your tapes in, can't you? If you've got any questions, want to suggest any music, you can email stephen.6music@bbc.co.uk. That is Stephen. It's a PH, people. It's not a V. .6music@bbc.co.uk. You can, of course, text as well. 640.
Well, don't text in the week. That's madness. No one's there to check out. You'll embarrass yourself
there. It's on the thing.
15 seconds or so to go.
Oh, thanks very much for that. Yes, and you can join Steve next week. He was here 3 till 5 with his mates from Banks and things. Like Harry here. I'm not going to be here, but do enjoy the show. Stuart McConey, Freak Zone, coming up next. And don't miss Guy Garvey at 10 p.m. That is... it was so good.
BBC 6 Music.
Kate Bush, Hounds of Love. Last week that CD was lying unloved in a charity shop in Kentish Town, North London. I snapped it up for a mere £2. This week it is the opening track on BBC 6 Music's The Steve Show with me, Steve Merchant. That typifies the show. If something is good, doesn't matter if it's old or discarded or unloved, it can still find its way onto the show. This week I was rummaging earlier, I was tidying up my office, I was looking in a little wardrobe, I found a 7-inch single. I dusted it off. What was it? It was Black Velvet, Alana Miles. Will that be played next week on the show? So. You'll have to tune in to find out. The message boards are alive now. Steve Merchant says you might be playing Alana Miles next week. I'm not sure. Black Velvet in the cold southern night. Will it get played? Who knows? So they can't believe their luck. They are so alarmed and excited. You'll have to tune in next week to find out whether that will happen. Back to this week. I'm, of course, pleased to welcome something else that's discarded and unloved. It's Harry. He works in a bank.
Thank you very much.
A lot of people are saying, why is he on the show? I'm saying because he is a nobody, but he's a music lover, and that's what the show's about. It's about sharing our love of music. Harry, what's the most exciting thing that's happened to you this week?
I had a little bit of a almost like a scene out of a film, Steve. I jumped onto a moving bus.
Wow, was there a bomb on board?
There wasn't, no. I'll fill you in. Basically, girlfriend's birthday party. I'm doing the tunes, you know, respected DJ these days.
Of course, yeah.
And doing it via the iPod, because that's easy. Yeah. The iPod blew up, had to rush home to get a new one. Got the other iPod, was running to get the bus. I'm miles from the bus stop. The bus is going past me. I'm waving frantically. The bus driver sees me. He's driving along. He says, he opens the door. He says, "Don't worry, mate." He says, "Just jump on." He says,
"Wow."
Because we're miles from the bus stop. He says, "Jump on." I look at him anxiously. He says, "No, it'll be fine." I jumped on, and if you've ever jumped on something that's moving, it's quite difficult.
I bet it is.
I lost my footing. The bus was packed, and I squealed like a little girl. I thought I was going to tear my ankle or fall off the bus. And so I showed him my ticket and just sort of put my head down and walked to the back of the bus. It was quite embarrassing.
How fast was it going?
It must have been at least 12 or 13 miles an hour.
Whoa, slow down.
It was pretty hardcore.
That's pretty exciting. I mean, I'd like to think that you've got his name and number, because we should report that guy. He's infringing any number, I would imagine, of health and safety regulations.
You know, had I have died or had some sort of limb incident, you know, I could have sued that man for all he's worth.
Were you waving your iPod? Were you mouthing girlfriend's birthday, me DJ? Was that, he responded to that?
Yeah, well, as I was shouting, he probably recognised the voice from the show.
Of course he did, yeah, he's only human. Well, listen, the most exciting thing that happened to me this week was welcoming back to the UK Rufus. There he is. So I'm going to call him Rufus from now on.
Okay.
Rufus, of course, the poshest man that I know, and possibly the poshest man that's ever been on the radio since 1950. As I understand it, stateside.
I have been in New York.
Okay.
And the most exciting thing that happened to me was my girlfriend leaving her passport and wallet in a locked flat with the keys under the door at 5:30 in the morning in pitch black and pouring rain in Manhattan.
Are they still there?
No.
Okay.
I won't bore the listeners or you with the story, but within 5 minutes of this event happening, we were back out on the street with wallet and passport. But the guy we were staying with had just flown to Montreal, and we were outside on the street in the dark, in the rain, with no passport, wallet, plane leaving in 2 hours.
Oh.
It was absolutely terrifying.
So you just kicked his door in, you thought, sod him, he's in Montreal.
Exactly,
We're
you'll
gonna
never
get a
know.
plane.
Yeah, I'm getting on that plane.
And what, I mean, I don't want to ask, but did you take advantage of the current exchange rate?
Well,
I imagine
yeah,
you
I
were
mean,
going crazy, weren't you, buying stuff over there, iPods and the like?
Absolutely, it's a giant half-off sale in America.
Yeah.
You can just go and get it's 2 for 1 on absolutely everything.
Absolutely everything.
All you have to do is you just go in and speak, and if you've got a voice like mine, well, you don't have to be as posh as me, but just a voice just generally that's got a British accent, they simply give you half of your money back.
Right, perfect. Yeah. Absolutely right. And of course, did you buy loads of stuff and then sneak through customs? Because of course you should have declared it.
Well, funnily enough, I met someone the other day who bought an iBook for his girlfriend, and he told me that he had to take it out of the box and kind of pour milk over it and kind of, scratch it with a couple of post-it notes saying, don't forget to call Andy on Tuesday the 7th of January.
Yeah, right, sure.
So that he'd had it for months, but no, most of the things I bought were kind of stuff from Henny's and Dean and DeLuca.
That you could have bought here?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
But I mean, so what we've discovered so far is that you've had a bus driver there who's been breaking a number of rules.
Yeah.
You've been sneaking stuff through customs. You've also just explained to people how to do that in the future.
Oh, yes.
If they need to do it. So I don't know what kind of rules we're breaking. It's the BBC, but it's not like it used to be. Rock and roll.
There's another rule we've broken, Steve. In this first link, we've said iPod 4 times, iBook once. We should point out that other electronic companies
are available.
Yes.
Well, no, because I'm being sponsored by Apple.
Oh, really?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's the best stuff in the world. If they want to send me a new G4 or G5, then send it to me care of the BBC. No, actually, you're absolutely right. If any major retailer wants to send me any form of computer, then they're welcome to, or indeed any kind of product. I will happily shamelessly promote it on the show. What was I going to say to you? I was going to say that we should play some music. Okay. I dug it out of the pigeonhole a few weeks ago, and it's actually grown on me a lot since then, although the vocals are perhaps a little too influenced by Liam Gallagher, but it's a fun summer tune. It's Gyro Jets and Favourite Thing About Jane, which is out on the 14th of May. I have to say that I'm a massive Jimmy Savile fan. I love Jimmy.
We all are.
I'm not going to do an impression of him, but I was pleased to see in the Observer Music Monthly, so there's an interview with him. Well, it's them, they have to recommend records to him. But what I love about Jimmy, and do you remember he was on that recent programme, the History of Light Entertainment?
Yeah.
And what I love about him is that he's convinced that he's had a part to play in every major musical development in the last 60 odd years. And there's another series of brilliant quotes in here where it says about how he first met the Beatles backstage in 1962. In the canteen afterwards, Brian Epstein came up to me and said, "Well, Jim, what do you think of my boys?" I said, "World class." He said, "That's a bit strong, Jim." I said, "Brian, watch my lips, world class." They became world famous. It's just everything. He's never got anything wrong. It's like let me tell you stories about his rapport with the Rolling Stones. If they had a problem, they'd say, "Get Jim in." Get Jim. The Rolling Stones, get Jim in. Jim will fix it. It was just, but I love it on the History of Light Entertainment. There was a couple of times where there's one where he's saying, "I was backstage with the Beatles and I was just hanging out with them back at the top of the Pops. I said, I bet you can't write a song about anything." They went, "Yes, we can, Jim." I said, "What about this book I'm reading?" 3 weeks later, paperback writer #1. I was thinking, no, I don't believe that's how it worked. I just love the idea of it. Just everything. He's just convinced by I said, "I'm going out with my mum for a drive." Where are you going at the weekend? So you're some kind of day tripper, are you, Jim? "Yes, I am. I bet you can't write a song about it." 3 weeks later, day tripper #1. I was hanging out with Mick Jagger. I said, "Satan, I quite like him." They went, "What? You've got some sympathy for him?" I went, "Yes, I bet you can't write a song about it." 3 weeks later, Wild Horses #1. I love him. I just think he's just amazing. But I'm just hoping if I can one day become one of those kind of lovable British eccentrics, that would be my dream.
The thing is, no one needs to corroborate his stories because everyone else who was there at the early days of the Beatles is dead now. Or
Right, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, let's check with Alan Clark. Oh no, he's dead. Brian Epstein. Oh, shame. George Martin. Well, he wasn't with them until a bit late. No one's going to prove him wrong because no one was there.
But it's the best one is his story of how Jim Will Fix It came about. He says, "I was walking along a corridor at the BBC. I didn't even stop. I saw a BBC exec coming the other way. The BBC exec said, 'Jim, you've been fixing stuff for people all your life. How'd you like to do it on TV?' I said, 'Yeah, not a problem.' He said, 'We're going to call it Jim Will Fix It.' I said, 'No, it'll be Jim 'LL Fix It, or I'm not doing it.' We went, 'Okay, Jim, you know what you're doing.' We never even stopped walking 30 years the show ran for. It's just everything in his head is this kind of weird fantasy of him just being an inspired genius.
Bro, you're so cynical. That really upsets me, Steve. He's a treasured childhood icon for me, and you're just having a go.
I'm not having a go at him. I'm saying he is a genius, but I wonder if perhaps everything he's done has had quite that. I mean, sometimes things take a little longer, don't they? That's what I'm saying.
I believe everything he says.
Everything Jim says.
You do wonder if you looked inside his head whether it would just be like some sort of crazy fairground with him standing in the middle and the sound of the waltzer in the middle of those Beatles songs. Him just kind of conducting everything and everything. The fact that he doesn't have any records, does he? He doesn't say.
No, he has no records.
He owns one record which belongs to a kind of Leeds double act who he's known since he was kind of 9 9 or something. But he said, I don't need records because I've got stories about every single song, and now I've got Music Choice or something on the
MTV,
telly.
Yeah.
Such a strange way to listen to music.
But he is a remarkable. I mean, anyone who saw that Louis Theroux documentary, it's just and truly one of the great insights into. And I guess, in America they're always much weirder and darker and more strange, but Jim, just properly British in the way that he washes his underpants. He has 2 pairs of underpants, is it, or 1 pair? And so, that's it, he's got 2 pairs, I think, and he wears one, washes the other, wherever he is. He's on a cruise. He was on a cruise ship on the documentary, washing his underpants, hanging them up to dry, and then wears the next. It's like, Jim, buy some new ones. Yeah. It's alright, mate.